Hello everyone, welcome back. It's Thumper, the Rabid Rabbit. We're on episode 6 now of No Bun Land. We're using the No Man Land map in Farming Simulator 22. We're about a year in now, officially, because we started in August, and we're just about ready to harvest our first big crop here. It's actually not that big, but we planted 4 fields to give us what we need for our pig farming. Funding it all with this silage, so that's why I'm trying to keep an eye on all of our silage bales. But our canola, our wheat, and our sorghum all ready to harvest, and with some pretty decent yield bonuses still in the 80%, even though we didn't roll, we didn't do a lot of ideal maintenance. I think we're still going to get a pretty darn good yield, so we're going to get ourselves the Nova 330 here, and it's appropriate accompanying header, the Power Stream 500, 5 meter wide. A little bit wider than our seed path, so I think it'll take less pass of the harvester to get this done. It isn't a particularly large harvester, but it's relatively inexpensive for us to lease, thankfully. And we don't need a big harvester. These fields aren't very big. Hopefully next time around we'll harvest these, turn these fields over, and then we obviously have more room, and I'm going to see if we can't even make a larger field space for our next seeding so that we can have bigger crops next time. I'm not actually sure if we're going to get enough out of these to feed our pig farm for a year, but I don't know that we're going to get the pig farm this year. We'll have to see what the yield is on the silage from this year, whether we actually have enough money to buy everything we need for pig farming. I'm going to try and enable swath here. Yeah, okay, that's kind of what I was expecting. I think the only crop that we're going to get straw out of is the wheat. I do not believe the canola or the sorghum give us any byproduct. So that's okay. A little bit of a little bit of straw is better than nothing, so we'll get the straw from the wheat harvest. And that's good, because we'll need those bales for putting into the pigsty eventually. It'll help us generate manure. I don't know that we can sell manure on this map, but we can spread it for fertilizer. Since I obviously demonstrated in a previous episode how much money you can waste buying fertilizer, we're gonna see if we can't make use of slurry and manure from our own production for our future fertilizing needs. Now, those spreaders are expensive, so we're definitely going to have to raise some money here, not only to buy the pig farming facility and the pigs, but also the various implements we'll use for the outputs of those. But that's, that's a future problem. Today, we keep an eye on our silage. Hopefully, we can afford to get all of our harvesting and field turning operations done without selling too much of that before January, when it hits peak of market. First pass was 21%. I think we can do this in 3, maybe 4 passes. My hope here is that I don't need to get a trailer. I could potentially modify my flatbed over there. I could take it to the shop and put sides on it and get some carrying capacity. But we're actually so close to these silos here that I'm pretty sure when this fills up, I can just run right over and dump it into the silos directly, just pipe out into the silos. I've never actually done that, but I'm fairly confident we can do that without needing a trailer. I sure hope we don't need a trailer. Just one more time and expense thing. Let me switch over and time-lapse through these, and we'll get these 3 fields all harvested. We won't be doing the sugar beet today. The sugar beet's not going to be ready till October, and it requires a different type of harvester anyway, so that's okay. Well, we almost made it through the wheat and canola on one load, but not quite. And that's okay. The yields are a little bit higher there, and so we had to empty the harvester twice, just barely for each of them. But that's okay. It's pretty good. Got a little over 5,000 liters, I think, there for both those, or all three of those crops, which, again, I do not know how far that's going to go with the pigs. We're going to have to see. I also don't think that the ratios are consumed the same by the pigs either. Like the root crop, the sugar beets, and the base crop, which I think is the canola, or sorry, the sorghum. I think they actually get consumed at different rates. So my suspicion is we're going to end up with a similar volume of all four of these crops in the pig pen, and they're going to get consumed at different rates. And I'm going to figure that out too late, because I think I'm going to have our next crop already planted before then. But eventually I will learn from that, and we'll figure out which one they consume faster, and then we'll know to plant more of those crops. But it's okay if we run out of the mixture. I think they'll live off the remaining foods, just not as efficiently. If we really care about their efficiency, we can always buy pig food from the store here. I don't think it's that expensive, but you know, I'm trying to feed them with our own stuff. So I'm going to cut together a few more segments here to show off what happened in the rest of August, but I'm going to do most of it, I think, through the magic of time-lapse, because I did a lot. Problem is, anytime I have money, I'll spend it. So I did cut the other half of the field that was grass. It was ready to harvest along with the surrounding wild grass land. I baled that up. That's in some black-wrapped silage bales over by the silos there now. And since I had the bale loader handy, I went ahead and used it to pick up the straw bales. Just going to dump those over here next to the water tower for now. We didn't get much, but I don't know if we need much. I suppose it depends on which pig pen I get. I'm planning on getting not the biggest one, but not the little fenced-in area, like the middle one. So that's like 100 grand, plus we got to buy pigs. So we're going to need some serious money out of this next silage harvest. So that's why I'm trying to keep the silage rolling and then get maximum value out of our next sale in January. I don't know if this is interesting to watch. I'm going to go ahead and include the time lapse of some painting work. I haven't really been doing that before. The last time it was really quick. This one was kind of long, but I just cleaned up some trim around the fields, and then since I'm going to be storing a bunch of stuff over here, I went ahead and grabbed the gravel texture and started laying out an area here that will be where I can lay out and store my silage bales. Plus, there's no silo for sugar beets, so the sugar beets are going to be stored on the ground. So I'm trying to leave an area there where I can dump the sugar beets. Probably means I'm going to have to get myself the bucket attachment for the front loader for moving those sugar beets around, but we'll worry about that after we have some sugar beets. After doing the painting, I immediately jumped into some cultivating. Went ahead and turned over these 3 fields we just harvested, forgetting, of course, that the cultivator was going to kick up all the rocks again, but that's okay. I also cultivated the grass field. I'm trying to open all this up, and I'm going to go ahead and grab the plow to expand our field. You can see this was after I finished turning over the grass. Cutting all the way out to where the tree grove was, since there's not a lot of wild grass there, I didn't feel like there was a value in keeping a lot of that area, so I went ahead and tried to cut that in to match up with the other field. I'm doing my best not to run into, well, like I just did, run into and damage the sugar beets, because I still need to harvest those. But the plan here is I'm going to plow in this new section, and then I'm going to harvest the sugar beets when those come up, and then I'll come back and finish plowing out around that little notch there and we'll end up with one giant rectangular field with plenty of space for new crops. I needed to do a little bit of prep work on the newly plowed area. You can see that big section there needs lime, so I went and grabbed the trailer to lay down lime to cover that. And also to take care of the fertilizing needs for this new area and some of the areas that weren't covered already. We have plenty of fertilizer still, so we may as well put that to good use since we already wasted literally tens of thousands of dollars on the damn fertilizer. We still have 3, well, not quite 3, 2.5 containers of fertilizer. I think this half a container will probably be plenty. Oh, yeah, it'll be plenty. So, I guess the upside of that is we have plenty of time to get our pig farm and get manure and slurry and the money for a manure spreader or slurry spreader before we're ever going to need one, because we have a shit ton of fertilizer left. Although we may go through this quickly with larger fields. But anyway, that was about it for August. Just wanted to zip through that. The fields are just going to need a little bit of final treatment, which we will do after we get the sugar beets harvested, which I think will probably be our next activity unless I find some other trouble to get into in between. So thank you for joining me for August, episode 6, here on No Bun Land for our big harvest. And hopefully we'll see you back soon for episode 7. Have a good evening and take care of yourselves.